Hello and welcome to another of Matt and Michael's videos. You're all very welcome. Tá fáilte roimh go baile á Trim. Today we have the usual mix and there are a couple of themes. One theme is deserts. I have a poem which is about a desert and Matt has a song from the Desert Song. The other theme is Trim musical productions. Matt's song refers to a musical production of the 50s in Trim. And we also have an actual song from a pantomime in the early 60s in Trim. We have some wise reflections on life by Patti Smith, and we end with a sing-along from that. Here's a poem by the English poet Percy Bysshe Shelley, who was one of the Romantic poets, living at the end of the 18th and the beginning of the 19th century. He wrote poetry and prose which was often considered radical, and he left England and went to live in Italy, where he died by drowning in 1822. This poem was occasioned by the news that part of a large statue of an Egyptian pharaoh, Ramesses II, was being brought to England to the British Museum, and it's there to this day. The Greek name for Ramesses II was Ozymandias. So Shelley wrote this poem in response to that. Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. I met a traveller from an antique land who said, 2 vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lips and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions red which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, my name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away.
Hello everybody, I hope you're all keeping very well. Today I would like to introduce you to the Desert Song. Desert Song is a musical light operetta composed by Sigmund Romberg, and it was staged in Trim in the year 1953. Playing the leads in the Trim version of the operetta were Rosalie Giles, soprano, and Willie Loughran, baritone. And they were so excellent, and in fact it was an excellent production. And in 1953, I have to tell you, I was 16 years old. And I had been learning the violin from Sister Ignatius. And I don't know whose idea it was, but I found myself in the orchestra with my violin under my arm, under my chin, and playing second fiddle. Now, I knew nothing about second fiddle. I didn't much know about first fiddle either. But sure, I was excited to do it. And sitting at my left was Anne McEntee. Now, that would be Dr. Larry McEntee's mammy, late mammy now, God rest her, who was a violinist. She played in the orchestra. And a number of others. There were Kathleen Kelly from Rathmallion, Phyllis McCabe and Agnes McCabe from Navan, Kathleen Anderson stroke McNulty at the piano. And this show was produced by Septa Cullen, very demanding lady producer from Dublin. It was a very interesting time and a beautiful show. And there's something about the plot. I have a few notes written down here. The plot concerns a dashing rebel leader whose band of freedom fighters called the Riffs threatened the safety of a French outpost in the Moroccan desert. In reality, the Red Shadow is Pierre, unassuming son of French General Mirabeau. Margot, a French girl, is in love with the Red Shadow, little suspecting that he is actually Pierre in disguise. Realizing that his advances weren't getting him anywhere, Pierre exits stage left, leaving Margot to ponder her situation. The music starts, the Red Shadow reappears stage right and starts to sing One Alone to a Margot who is completely overcome with emotion. At the end of the song, he unmasks and Margot, now completely overcome by events, collapses into his arms. And that's a synopsis of the story, but this is a by-the-by. I was privy to this piece of in-house information. The producer Septa Cullen wanted to dramatise that scene to a great extent. And as I just said, Margot completely collapsed into his arms and the curtain pulled, closed the scene. Now Septa Cullen wanted the curtain to reopen, showing the Red Shadow with the beloved Margot right across his outstretched arms. And I remember the debate going on, will he be able to do it? Will he be able? I'm talking about his outstretched arms. She wasn't holding on to anything now. She was just lying on his outstretched arms. That was the plan. I remember the debate as to whether he would be able to do it or not. But in fact, I can tell you he did do it. The curtain was drawn, she collapsed into his arms, the curtain went back, there she was, lying across Willie Loughran's outstretched arms, to the amazement of everybody in the house, probably including himself. So anyway, I hope you enjoy my rendition of One Alone. Unfortunately, it has to be a solo, it should be a duet. But due to COVID restrictions and all sorts of things, I'm not able to do it this way. Somebody might think of a way of adding their voice to mine on screen maybe. So anyway, I hope you enjoy One Alone. Lonely as a desert breeze, I may wander where I please, yet I keep on longing just to rest a while, where a sweetheart's tender eyes take the place of sand and skies, all my world forgotten in one woman's smile. One alone to be my own, I alone to know her caresses, one to be eternally, the one my worshipping soul possesses. At her call I'd give my all my life and all my love and you. This would be a magic world to me if she were mine. One alone to be my own, I alone to know her caresses, one to be eternally, the one my worshipping soul possesses. At her call I'd give my all my life and all my love and you. This would be a magic world to me if she were mine. At her call I'd give my all my life and all my love and you. This would be a magic world to me if she were mine.
This poem reflects on Irish customs like the wake around a death. Baking. Before I am dead 3 hours, the smell of baking will rise like incense from the semi-detached homes in this housing estate. Mixing bowls will moan as they fold in cream flour, free-range eggs, buttermilk, and a selection of dried fruits. Streetlights will blink in disbelief as ovens are preheated in unison, then lumbered with the dead weight of dough. When cool to the touch, the golden fruits of labour will be wrapped, borne, and handed over with words of consolation. Our kitchen table will be heaped, and for 3 days and 3 nights, grateful mourners will enjoy the rich crust of friendship and tradition. Then, all the empty flour bags, milk cartons, eggshells, and used bun cases will be binned for collection on Wednesday morning, by that night beginning to decay. Matt has already told us about musicals in Trim in the 1950s. In the early 1960s, pantomimes were performed in the town hall. The first one was in 1963 and it was The Babes in the Wood. Here we have a recording of a song from one of those pantomimes. The singer is Kevin Byrne and the song is Old Man River.
Let me go away from the Mississippi. Let me go away from that white man fall. Show me that stream called the River Jordan. That's the old stream that I long to cross. Old Man River, that old man river, he must know something, but don't say nothing, he just keeps rolling, he keeps on rolling along. It was that sailor, it was that cotton, and then that lonesome is so forgotten. But Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain, body all aching and racked with pain. Hold that barge, lift that bale, get a little drunk, and you'll land in the jail. I get weary and sick of trying. I'm tired of living and feared of dying. But Old Man River, he just keeps rolling along. Body all aching and racked with pain. Hold that barge, lift that bale, get a little drunk, and you'll land in the jail. I'm as weary and sick of trying. I'm tired of living and fear of dying. But Old Man River, he just keeps rolling
Hi, it's me again with more from my diary. I was just struck there, Michael, with the mention of Kevin Byrne and Old Man River, a big number in one of our pantomimes in the 1960s.
It was a real showstopper, and the backing group, if you like, was the men's chorus. The men's chorus minus Paddy Smith and a few other people. I was in that show, in the men's chorus. I was a fine singer in my day. But Kevin's number, it was really great, and I wanted to be in it, but I wasn't selected. Maybe I wasn't tall enough or something. I don't know. But I managed to struggle through life, suffering from that terrible rejection. And I think I got on pretty well under the circumstances. What do you think? Anyway, my diary. Wednesday the 18th of August. Today was our first visit to Mary's new hospital consultant. I let Mary out near the consultant's rooms and went looking for parking, but I had a terrible time. Eventually I found a space, but it was a fair distance away and it was going to take me a good while to walk back to Mary. It wasn't the walk that I minded. I was just afraid that I wouldn't get there in time. I was considering taking a taxi to go less than half a mile, and I actually did ask a taxi driver, but he was already booked and was just waiting for his fare. Eventually I got there under my own steam, almost literally steam, arriving in a bit of a sweat, and of course then we were kept waiting another 15 minutes before we were called. The main thing is, both of us liked the consultant straight away. She was very friendly and chatty, and her English was very good. She's from India. It's always nice to be dealing with nice people like that. When we got home, we went out for our tea with a capital T, if you know what I mean. After a busy and somewhat stressful day, we deserved to treat ourselves. But at the end of the meal, an interesting situation arose. Should we leave a tip? Now, normally we would, but, now listen to this. When I was paying by card, I didn't have the change for a tip, so I sat down again and we cobbled together a tip between the two of us. But then, when we got up to go, there was nobody at the till and none of the staff were around. If I did leave some money in the tips jar, nobody would notice, and they certainly wouldn't know that it was from us. An interesting dilemma. I'm not going to divulge the outcome because it's nobody's business except mine, but what would you have done? Now, be honest. Thursday the 19th of August. Another visit to a hospital today, this time for a catheter change for me. 2 different hospitals, 2 consecutive days. The story of our lives. Tina and Jerry, both Filipino, made the change very efficiently and absolutely painless. At home, the 2 rabbits, George and Mildred, are still with us. They're no trouble at all, really. Sunday the 22nd of August, we watched the All-Ireland hurling final. Brilliant first half display by Limerick, but the second half was boring because they got so far ahead of Cork and they ran out deserving winners in the end. Some sad news. Chrissy Doyle, née Duggan, died today in Dundalk. She was Mary's godmother and was only 16 when Mary was born, which makes her 93 years old this year. A really great character, always cheerful. A light has gone out in all our lives. May you rest in peace, Chrissy. Monday the 23rd of August. Terrible ongoing situation in Afghanistan, particularly in Kabul, with thousands of people trying to get out of the country and being stopped by the Taliban. It's all very reminiscent of the fall of Saigon at the end of the Vietnam War. My heart goes out to all these people and my little quibbles and troubles. I'm ashamed to even mention them.
So that's almost all for this week. We hope you've enjoyed our offering. We hope you have a good week, and we're looking forward to seeing you again next week. In the meantime, take care, God bless, and we leave you with a sing-along with Matt singing, and the words are on the screen, so you should be able to sing along.
Que sera, sera was immortalised by Doris Day, of course, and I suppose it should be sung by a lady, but I left my skirt at home, so you'll have to suffer on with me. So, if anybody likes an old-time waltz, this is a good an opportunity. When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera, what will be, will be. When I was young, I fell in love. I asked my sweetheart, what lies ahead? Will we have rainbows day after day? Here's what my sweetheart said. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera, what will be, will be. Now I have children of my own. They ask their mother, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? I tell them tenderly, que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera, what will be, will be. Que sera, sera. Good.